For years, VA workers have been paid while doing union work, costing taxpayers more than $100 million a year. That all stops tomorrow thanks to the Trump administration ending the so-called partisan official time policy. Dan Caldwell is a veteran and the executive director for Concerned Veterans for America. He joins me now. I want to go to this quote first, Dan. Thank you for joining us, and then get your reaction off of this. And this is from J. David Cox Sr., the response to the new rule, saying, quote, removing access to official time is like asking the fire department to operate without fire trucks or a fire hose, and the result will be just as disastrous for our veterans. Respond to that, and then also tell us, for folks who don't know, what this official time is.
First of all, that's an absurd quote. I'm sorry. J. David Cox is in charge of the American Federation of Government Employees. It's one of the largest unions in the country. I believe about 280,000 VA employees are members of his union. And he's upset because now VA employees, particularly those that are tasked with directly caring for our veterans, can't spend the time that the taxpayer is paying them to work for our veterans supporting his union, which, by the way, engages in a lot of political activity, mostly in support of Democrats. This union spent millions, if not tens of millions of dollars in this last election helping to elect politicians, primarily Democrats. And that's the big problem here. Official time is basically work hours that VA employees spend, and not just VA employees, this occurs across the whole government, on their work time that the taxpayers are paying them to do the jobs they're hired to do, supporting these entities, and it's completely unacceptable. These employees should be doing the jobs they were hired to do, which is caring for our veterans. And let's take a look at some of these numbers here. Really a lot of money here. $177 million estimated spent on official time in fiscal year 2016, and during that same fiscal year, you got a lot of hours spent on this as well. I don't know. It's hard to argue with those numbers. It's absolutely unacceptable. Look, the VA has made a lot of progress the last few years in terms of improving the delivery of health care to our veterans, the timeliness of the health care for our veterans, but there's still a lot of work to be done, and there's still far too many veterans that are waiting long periods of time for care. And every nurse, every doctor, every support technician that isn't devoting 100% of their time to caring for our veterans means that there's more veterans that are going to have to wait longer because there's fewer nurses and doctors that can take more appointments because they're supporting special interest political organizations like the American Federation of Government Employees. Dan, have you talked to veterans over the last couple of days? How do they feel about this crackdown on official time? I think that a lot of them are in support of it. They think it's long overdue. I think that Secretary Wilkie and President Trump did the right thing here. Unfortunately, I think it's going to get challenged in the courts. Hopefully, the courts will uphold this executive order from President Trump and this action from Secretary Wilkie. If not, then Congress is going to have to pass legislation to put this into law. Senator Cruz and Representative Arrington, both from Texas, have a bill called the Vet Protection Act, which would do that. But I hope the courts ultimately uphold the president's executive order here. All right, Dan, thank you for joining us. Thanks for your time and thanks for your service.